I find it very interesting how corporations get to slander their critics nowadays. And this happens predominantly in the entertainment industry. If you say something negative about a product, you'll get blacklisted. And in worst cases, you might even get slandered and have your name tarnished by brands. It's ridiculous. I mean, look at this guy, okay? Arch Warhammer. He's got 250 million subscribers. He's got millions of views. And every single of his video, every single one, as far as I know, and I would be surprised if that's not the case, is overwhelmingly voted with a thumbs up. So the community, grassroots as they called it, decided to make Arch Warhammer the person they would like to get their news from. And the companies don't like this. They don't like this because he often criticizes their product. Unlike other Warhammer YouTubers that are mostly giving it favorable reviews. I mean, Arch Warhammer, when the Age of Sigmar was released, he was really upset about it. He called it out. He disagreed with it. And he also disagrees with the company's politics. And I don't know how many people are aware, but he was blacklisted from this company years ago. And what happens recently is that someone went on his Discord and searched really hard. I mean, in a Discord with hundreds of thousands of lines of text, that person managed to find 5 or 6 lines where Arch is being an edgy boy and he is saying stuff that is really watered down compared to what's happening in South Park. And now everyone is pretending that the reason the brands want to disassociate with Arch is because of his edgy jokes on Discord that aren't even on his channel. Like, the audience isn't even being influenced by those edgy jokes. And it's really fascinating when you think about it, because if people were genuinely concerned about Arch's political views, they would just have a conversation with him. They would just talk with him. But instead, they just found a couple of jokes on his Discord, and it's like, oh, clearly the man is going to start the Fourth Reich. And they're pretending like he's some menace, some danger to society, as if he is going to become a political leader and start a movement in Norway that is going to overrun the world and oppress minorities and whatnot. It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. But the reason they do it is simply because he criticizes them. And again, the evidence for this is that he was blacklisted years before he made those edgy jokes, which now a lot of people try to pretend, oh, this is the reason corporations don't want to work with you. But it is what it is, and it's quite fascinating that you have other YouTubers, which Arch helped when they were smaller than him and promoted them. I'm not going to give names, but now they're turning against him. And they're like, oh yeah, no, horrible, I disavow. I kind of understand why a lot of YouTubers are so skeptical in making connections nowadays. Because it's the same thing with, J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. It's like J.K. Rowling made Harry Potter into the man he is today. And then he decides to attack her when, she has controversial opinions and stab her in the back. Another example is with the Quartering. He also helped a lot of YouTubers. And then when he made a comment saying cosplay is like lingerie, oh, sexism, sexismus, blah, 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 cancel him, blah, 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 blah. And all of the people he helped turned against him. And I see this time and time again, like, do these people genuinely feel that if they join the woke mob, they're going to get brownie points? Like, I know these people. They hold similar opinions. They make edgy jokes behind closed doors. I know some of them. And they do this behind closed doors, and then they go out and it's like, oh no, I disavow Arch. Oh, I disavow the Quartering. Oh, I disavow J.K. Rowling. Oh. It's like, you do this. You do this yourself. What is the problem? But anyway, no, just an observation. The hypocrisy, you can cut it with a knife. Nowadays, like, it seems this type of competition, like, it used to be a ladder that you climb based on skill. And if you're more skillful than a person, you get higher on the top. Nowadays, just pulling the person on top of you and then cutting the ladder for the people below you. That's pretty much what it is in the entertainment industry nowadays. Like you can only climb on the corpses of other people that you try to cancel and insult and latch on to any sort of negativity in order to try and amplify it so you can get some gains and get some rewards out of it. I mean, look at Johnny Depp. That's a perfect example. Like Johnny Depp was falsely accused of doing domestic violence towards his wife. Like, that's horrible, right? And then recordings come out with her saying like, who's going to believe you, Johnny? And recordings coming out with her actually assaulting Johnny. And all the people that sided with Amber and were like, oh my God, no, Johnny, blah, 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 really horrible person. Not one of them that I know of have apologized for this decision, because it's not about doing justice in the world. It's not about trying to protect the helpless or anything like that. No, it's just pretending to be outraged and milking a little bit of currency from it. Like trying to get whatever little social power you can from the misery of other people until the woke mob is going to come for them in the end. Because it always happens. Like all of these YouTubers, all of these people eventually are going to get drama. And then you're going to see how it's like to be on the receiving end. Literally, almost every single one. I don't know of any exceptions. Like, if you're on YouTube for more than 10 years, you're going to get drama. But anyway, right now they're playing it to the hands of the corporations who are upset that they can't control influencers like Arch. I mean, they can control the gaming journalist press, like Polygon, like Otaku, like, all these established California sources that are going to give their games 10 out of 10, and they're going to be like, oh, excellent, so well, so good, bravo, bravo. But with a YouTuber, you can't, because the YouTuber is being held to account by his audience. Like, if a YouTuber starts posting something negative and blatantly false, the audience will correct him and they will start unsubscribing. So it's a lot different than how it is for the legacy gaming journalist press. And companies don't like that. They really hate the fact that you criticize them. So look at this. Due to a human error on our side, a rather controversial figure in Warhammer community. Like, you're already suggesting that he is controversial. Like, yeah, of course companies don't like him because he criticizes their game. And in the case of Age of Sigmar, probably Arch single-handedly cost them a couple of thousands of dollars by telling people not to buy it. But he's not controversial within the community. Like, he's got 250,000 subscribers. He's got the overwhelming majority of video with a thumbs up. I am willing to bet that there are far fewer people against him than with him. Like, start a poll and prove me wrong. Start a survey. I don't see the controversy on his channel. There is evidence to suggest that. There are some whiny communists on Reddit that don't like him. But who cares about some whiny communists on Reddit? I mean, well, I guess the brands do now, because, the whiny communists on Reddit might criticize Arch, but they talk only positive things about the corporation. So, well, Arch Warhammer was involved in our marketing activities for World of Warship and World of Warship Legends. While working on our Warhammer collaboration, we were specifically warned by Games Workshop not to work with this influencer, and we agreed to it. Can you imagine, like, the assert in the mainstream media if a company would say, yeah, I don't want you to work with Polygon? I remember, like, this was actually the case. I think, like, one company decided to ban Polygon from, like, an event that they were hosting, and man, God, like, the tears and the salt were immense. They were astonishing. It's like, man, like, oh, freedom of the press. It's like, freedom of the press doesn't mean you can join private events, buddy. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, thus we ended up sponsoring the person we don't want to be affiliated with and failed to fulfill an important and rightful request to our partner. We take full responsibility for this incident and sincerely apologize to you and Games Workshop for letting this happen. We are against any form of discrimination while discriminating against Arch Warhammer. I never understand this. Like, how is Arch Warhammer discriminating? It's like, is there a person out there that wants to purchase a product from Games Workshop, but somehow Arch is casting weird voodoo and the transaction cannot take place? Like, the guy gives the money, the company wants to take the money, but like something occurs because Arch is there. it is so ridiculous. Like these buzzwords that are now being uttered without an ounce of thought behind them. And then they go with other buzzwords. It's like, oh, we will do better, and yeah, we're going to improve communications, and blah, blah, blah. I don't buy it. I think that this has absolutely nothing to do with Arch's jokes on a Discord server. Like, again, they had a guy go in there, go through hundreds of thousands of logs just to get like 4 or 5 edgy jokes. That means that they sent someone there in order to find dirt on him. Like, they already hated the guy, so they have to send someone. It's like, come on, find some dirt on this fellow. And by the way, Arch is stupid. I mean, we live in a world where rioting is protesting, beating up a Democratic senator is protesting. No, like, Google the news. Democratic senator beaten up by protesters. Like, that's the world we live in, okay? But jokes are violence. Like, you're not allowed to make any type of jokes because it is hateful. All right. No, that's your mentality. But it is what it is. I don't get to make it. It exists. As such, don't make any more jokes. You know, like, just be 100% serious all the fucking time. You know, by the way, like, I keep saying this, like, being serious is easy. Like, anyone can put a serious face and a suit and just act all serious. Making jokes is a lot more difficult nowadays. And you need to understand, every single South Park episode from the first seasons would violate at least 2 or 3 YouTube terms of service. Hands down. Like, no, you'd get every single episode just censored off the internet. That's the world we live in. But, you know, like, the only reason it doesn't happen is because people make exceptions for some. Like, some people are allowed to joke, other people aren't allowed to joke. Literally the same joke sometimes. It depends who says them. If it's said by, for example, like, if J.K. Rowling says something offensive, well, she gets to stay because she's too rich and influential. But if someone like Graham Lennon says it, well, he gets banned from Twitter. It is really, it's all about how much money you have and what corporations back you. That's really what it is. You know, if you're backed by corporations and you have a lot of money, then you can joke and you can be edgy. Otherwise, not so much. But anyway, right, so this is what I wanted to talk about. Every single time I see cancel culture now, and I see someone being taken away, I'm wondering, like, who benefits from it? Who has something to gain from this person being yeeted? And in the case of Arch, other YouTubers that deal with Warhammer have to benefit because they view it as, well, if he is off the platform or if he doesn't get games in advance so he can review them, then we get more subscribers, we get more view, we get more money. The company has to benefit in the fact that, well, one of our biggest critics is being taken off the internet or is going to be a pariah. And that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think for a second that these people legitimately believe that Arch is a danger to society, that he's going to start the Fourth Reich by making jokes on Discord. So anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.